Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. You see the video title, so you know what time it is. It's time for the latest patch notes, news, whatever we want to call it, for Inazuma 11 Victory Road beta. So this was news from the 19th, which would, if I could actually get my screen to work, yeah. So the 19th, that was 2 days ago, as of recording this, so from Friday. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. There's some pretty interesting stuff in here about when what's going to be in the next update. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right in. So first of all, thank you for playing the beta test trial version. After the distribution started, many users from all over the world played the game, and we received various opinions on Inazuma Post. Based on the opinions and impressions submitted, the development team has repeatedly considered the adjustment policy and has made the following adjustments. I don't actually click that. In line with version 1.1.0, which is the addition of story mode, scheduled to be updated in early May 2024. That's when he plans to do it. So for context, guys, I know some of you are coming to the video and you just want to know, right, when is the update coming? Early May. That has to be the first week of May, in my opinion. That's early May. The second week would be mid-May, so unless it's like really early, so I would say anytime from kind of Wednesday the 1st, that week, or it will be very early, the 6th to the 8th. That is kind of when I would think that this would get released. Fingers crossed it's hopefully in less than 2 weeks time at this point, like a week and a half, but we shall see. Anyways, we will continue to improve the quality so that our users can enjoy the game even more. So please continue to cooperate with the beta test. That's right, guys. So, if you do notice anything or you do have any specific ideas for, improvements, slap it in the beta test, because they are, the Inazuma Post, because they are definitely looking at it to kind of see, where they can improve. If you guys don't know how to access Inazuma Post to kind of, send over your ideas and areas for improvement, I will put a link in the description to the Inazuma 11 Post site so that you guys can easily access it. So, scheduled to be updated in early May 2024, beta test trial version 1.1.0, additions and corrections. So, in this update will be the addition of story mode. Story mode has been added to the title menu, allowing you to experience the story of the new protagonist, Sasanami Unmei, or Destin Billows as he's called. You can play the first chapter, which will be titled You Can Play Soccer, arranged for the trial version. So when it says arranged for the trial version, I'm pretty sure this is because the chapter that we'll play, and this first chapter of story mode that we'll play, won't be the exact chapter that will be like the way it plays out won't be the exact way it plays out in the main final game. Just something to consider, but it will be an idea for us to see what the story mode's going to be like. I'm curious if it will follow the same format as the original Inazuma 11 games and be just 10 chapters, so we shall see. That will be interesting. And I guess we can also maybe judge how long the game will be based on how long it takes to complete chapter 1 of the story. So there will also be the addition of theatre mode. Theatre mode has been added to the title menu, allowing you to watch visual scenes that you've seen once. The trial version only adds the ending of each mode. The ending of each mode. Okay, that doesn't exactly make sense, but I would assume here theatre mode being that for all of the cutscenes that we'll see in the first chapter, we'll be able to kind of go back, and obviously in the main game, every animated studio mapper scene, which is going to be chef's kiss phenomenal, we're going to be able to go back and watch them, so that'll be good. Implementing unauthorized disconnection penalties. This is so needed. I've been waiting for this. This is such a good one. The side with the illegal amputation or disconnection will be unconditionally defeated, and the person who was disconnected from will be the winner. So in very simple terms, if you actively choose to disconnect, it'll be classed as a defeat for you, and if someone disconnected on you, you'll be the winner. Even if you are disconnected midway, the person who was disconnected will be able to obtain the items that they have acquired up to that point. So bear in mind, this is Japanese translated, so I'll explain if the English doesn't make too much sense. So, bear that in mind. But yeah, so basically, if you've been disconnected on, you'll still be able to obtain any items and spirits, tokens that you've obtained up to that point. If the party is judged to have committed an authorized disconnection, their acquired items will be confiscated, which means if you forcefully disconnect, you ain't getting nothing. If the match is not played until the end, neither player will receive experience points. See, this is sad though. I feel like they should actually give you XP points if someone disconnected on you. But I guess if someone disconnects, you get your spirit and stuff, but you don't get any XP, which still makes being disconnected on frustrating, but it's not as bad, but still frustrating, because I think, personally, if you get disconnected on, you should get the experience points and you should get spirits, and they should just get nothing to really drive home, don't disconnect. So this is what it will look like if you get disconnected on. Well, if you disconnect, it will show you in red writing. And if someone's disconnected on you, in green. Okay, so added Kosan function during the match. So this translated is surrender, I'm pretty sure. So as a countermeasure against disconnection, when you judge that there is no chance of winning, you can immediately decide the winner by selecting surrender, even in the middle of the match, which is good because basically it should mean that, look, if you are not enjoying the game, you've queued into ranked and someone's just massively over leveled, there's just no win, you can just surrender. If the match ends due to surrender, you will receive an item, and if you cut it, the item will be confiscated. Neither of you will be able to gain experience points when you are Kosan. Okay, so they're obviously trying to discourage people from, number one, forcefully disconnecting or surrendering because you don't get any XP. But at the very least, rather than disconnect, at least if you surrender, then everyone will still get items, just no XP. Makes sense. Measures against lag in general. Communication battles. Reduces the communication volume to approximately 1/10. So, I would assume, and I could be wrong here, anyone who's more techie than me, please let me know, but adjust the program to be resistant to lag. So I would assume this means that in terms of the lag connectivity issues should be reduced by 90%, because it said that it's reducing the communication volume to approximately 1/10. So my brain is saying 90% of the issues that were the likelihood of causing those connection and lag issues should be solved, which should make for much easier representations of when, we choose to go a certain direction in focus battles. It actually goes that way. That would be useful. What else do we have? Renewed UI around training. So the dock movement command will be abolished and the UI will be changed so that all operations, including movement, can be performed within training. Tactics, formations, and uniforms are also summarized in development. So yeah, this just means that rather than having to go into multiple avenues in order to change your team, move players from one team to another, it's more cohesive. It can all be done in one singular space now, which will be good. This one's pretty good too. So added war history to battle mode. You'll be able to check the history of past matches in a list. So this will be good. Let's say I'm, grinding and I've not recorded every video and you guys are like, hey, we want to make sure that you ain't just surrendering like a little bitch, right? Then I can prove to you and say, hey guys, look, I actually did win every single game of ranked and I've never lost a single Inazuma 11 game in my life. Okay, implementation of judgment function. Advanced judge settings. Even if there is a tie, the winner can be decided by judgment. By turning on advanced judge settings, you can decide the winner or loser in a room match based on the official rules evaluation and match content. If at least one opponent or spectator turns it on, all matches in that room will be turned on. Okay, so let's see. We're looking here. Just have a look at the photo for it to give you an idea. So basically, rather than have, the tournament that I'm basically playing right now, bear in mind I will be uploading after the video after this will be the next episode in the tournament series for the Discord. But yeah, so for context, if you draw in it, rather than it say, okay, that was just a draw, move on to the next game, based on your actual performance in game and the various kind of attributes compared to the other person, it will weigh up that criteria and let you know, okay, so if you actually had 12 shots on target and they only had 3, and you made more passes, you won more focus duels, then overall you kind of got more points. You were more productive. You were the better team, basically. And so, you get 30.1 points rather than 27.9. So that's pretty cool. I think that's quite a good function, actually. So it means that, draws aren't just draws, because sometimes you are just unlucky and it's a draw that shouldn't really be a draw. So that's interesting. Added focus win to the interval screen. So yeah, basically, as I mentioned before, so now, as opposed to just showing you like the total amount of shots that you took, there's also how many focus duels you won as well, to kind of further show how productive you were in that game. That's pretty good. A build type icon will now be displayed in the passive description field, making it easier for light players to understand the build construction. So I assume this just means what the passive is kind of catered towards. So what does your passive help with? Defense, I would assume. I don't really know what all of these, I mean, you can kind of figure out to some degree, breach, defense, attack. This might be drops, actually. And I'm not sure of these two exactly. I'm sure one will be like bond power, and the other one might be tension. That would actually probably make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. And then uniform UI setting change. Was that even English that I said? I'm not even sure if it was. But you will be able to check the model when purchasing. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. Just in the shop, you can actually see what the kits look like, so you can fully make your decision. Fixed an error in the effect duration of tactics. The effect timer will no longer stop during zone or focus. Okay, sure, that makes sense. Pretty self-explanatory. Tutorial AI mode. So just when you start the game, it's not going to be as obscene with just videos popping in that you have to watch before you can carry on with that kind of first game. See, I thought this was BS though. Solving the problem that the CPU is too strong from the beginning. Nah, it's not. It's not too strong. It's just we've never played an Inazuma 11 game like this before, so it took a while for you to get used to the mechanics of the game. I don't think the AI was too strong at all. And if anything, considering, some people don't actually like the idea of, playing online PvP, and some people just like Inazuma 11 for the difficulty against AI or CPU. I think the CPU, especially at the very highest levels, should be hard as hell. It shouldn't be easy, because that's what makes Inazuma 11 fun as well. I could be wrong. You guys let me know in the comments, but doesn't having like a really hard CPU that you have to try and get 5 goals against to get like an S rank, isn't that what we love also about like the story mode? Maybe it's just me, but yeah. Maybe it's just tutorial AI though, but yeah. Okay, yeah, it might just be tutorial AI. So I just went on a rant for no reason. Changes to tutorial movie, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, pretty boring, no one cares about that. Special move command UI change. A position icon has been added before the name of the special move, so you can clearly see when it can be used. Oh. Long shot and shot block icons have been added to the right side of technique. This is actually very useful, so you can actually make sure, how in the video about equipment, I told you that obviously your 2 defenders closest to your keeper, you want to make sure that they're ones with block shots. So having an indicator to let you know that this move definitely can block a shot is helpful as well. And long shot is too. Position icon, not exactly sure. Let's see. Shoot, block. Oh, okay. I would assume. Yeah, right. So position icon lets you know whether it's a shoot, a block, a dribble, a goalkeeping move, etc. Okay, that makes sense. And then what is this? Players are not blatantly offside, so adjusted to make it harder for AI to take offside positions. So adjusted positioning thinking for both defenders and attacking forwards. Turn offside rule on. So interesting here, it's that for the most part, the AI should now be smart enough that your players aren't just randomly offside. And the reason also why they've done this is because you're now going to be able to actually turn the offside rule on. I would assume, I'm not sure if this just means that they, as the developers, have turned this on and this is now a permanent thing, or whether you'll be able to choose it on and off. I actually think this will be great to have on, because then it just means that you can't just camp your forward right in front of the goalkeeper. And because like currently the what's it called, the penalty that you have if your player shoots when they're offside isn't that good. They'd either need to scale it up way more or just have this, and I think I prefer to have offside on. It makes the game closer to football in reality, and also just requires a bit more skill and thinking. Display of tactics, screen guide, and new confirmation UI. So tactics, super tactics, effect time display for both enemies and allies. You can check the call by pressing the L button and the remaining time. Okay, that's really good. So you can, the same way that you can kind of see what super tactics you have, you can now see what your opponents have as well and how long you kind of have before they're back up again, which is actually really helpful, especially seeing what your opponent's on, because that helps you decide how best to kind of go about things as well. That's a really, really good change. Changes to the character switching operation UI during defense. So display change when switching characters during defense. Change from a circle to a vector. Okay, so I would assume then it's this arrow. Maybe this will help you more accurately decide who you're changing it to, which I think was something that I was complaining about because it was so hard to switch previously. You're just kind of pressing it and you couldn't actually see where it was going. So I assume now you're going to have an indicator on your player to show you what direction, if you do kind of hold it and then release, the target will go to, which is going to be so good. That's going to make such a difference because you've seen it in my games. Like, it's so hard to accurately switch to who you want to in defense normally. So new operation through pass implemented. You can easily adjust the path position by holding down the B button. A so-called through pass becomes possible. So I assume this is a pass that a player of yours can run into. That's what it looks like here. So as opposed to it just like you put a pass through there and actually it's more so because currently your passes either go to the player you want directly, it's a through ball over to the player you want directly, or it just goes off to the side and all of a sudden they've got throwing. So that's really good too. Hopefully that means the AI is also smart enough to run in, or you can play a through pass and then you have to control your players to run in, which will be good. If you can have a little bit more control over your players, that'd be great. So spike, which is just football boots. So your boots equipment changes are reflected on characters. Oh my god, my brain didn't even realize what this meant until now. Holy fuck, this is such a small thing, but this is actually sick. I thought this just meant that, like, for whatever reason, it wasn't showing you kick stat. Like, if you just changed to, like, between boots, it wasn't really reflecting it. I don't know why my brain thought that. But the fact that actually, when your player is shooting or walking, you can see all the different boots and how oh my god, it's such a small change, but it's sick. I actually love that. Oh my god, that is actually sick. Oh, mate, I love this game so much every day. So you can check the values of your Hisatsu. I have no idea what Kaikai is. Technique and Kizuna, which Kizuna is Bond. So you're now going to be able to kind of see your Bond power increase. I assume that, maybe also you're just going to have more visual information as to when you're, I guess it's, calculations for if you're doing like a direct shot or how much additional power you're using a Hisatsu is going to make to your overall attack power. I assume just all that sort of information is going to be more easily available so that you're just more aware as to, the calculations ahead of time before you fully commit. I think this is related to Breach, but I'm not sure. So, yeah. They are going to release an English patch notes. So, I might link that in the video in the description when that finally releases. So even if you watch this video a little bit later, if you check the description, you might actually see the link to the English patch notes for you guys to have a look. All right, so significant changes to calculation specifications for Hisatsu. So Hisatsu has been changed to an effect that converts the percentage of tension into percentage damage to keeper power. Hisatsu reduces the KP by the same percentage as the remaining tension gauge. At this time, the enemy keeper receives the sum of the shot attack and hit damage as KP damage. Tension converted to KP damage when hit is consumed. Now, basically, in simple terms, from what I know, this is now related to breach, and so breach is no longer an instant goal. If a breach occurs, you'll do damage to your opponent's keeper's gauge based on your tension gauge. So for example, if you have 35% tension and you get a breach, you'll only do 35% damage to the keeper's gauge, not including the damage that your shot power will also do. So it's an interesting change. I'm not sure if it is actually a good change. I guess we'll kind of see how this goes. Adjustment of keeper. Fixed effect time bug and changed so that the effect ends once you stop shooting. I think this is something to do with the fact that basically the ball animations, once you've scored, what it looks like in the net is increased. Well, not increased, but made to look better, more realistic. Specification changes for Lucky Fever. So basically, in the Discord, someone else cleared it up a little bit more. So now, when you have Lucky Fever, because basically Lucky Fever was a bit of a redundant special tactic or super tactic in ranked games. If you got Lucky Fever, you just basically were at a disadvantage. But now it reduces your opponent's breach rate by 10% and increases yours by 10%. So that is pretty good. Changed messages during ranked matches. So the matching status is displayed, making it easier to understand the situation during communication. So I assume this shows you like how close you are to actually being connected to someone. The level difference bonus display, or maybe it'll even tell you like what the ETA is for like a match. Level difference bonus display on the confirmation screen of ranked matches. There is already a level difference bonus process, but it's difficult to convey, so we added a display. Okay, so I would assume maybe this bonus is going to be related to spirits and tokens, or just tokens, but if you manage to beat someone in a higher rank, then it shows you what the percentage increase of like drops you'll get as a result of beating them will be. So that's good. It's always good to actually kind of know a bit of that background information. Other adjustments are sorting. The settings on Spirit screen are now retained. I have no idea what the hell that means. Remove spectator confirmation on the room match preparation screen. So yeah, you don't have to so spectators don't have to accept. They just have to be in there. Added the hide password in room match settings. So that'll be for people kind of like me, I guess. If I start streaming, then just so random people don't join lobbies and then it just creates unnecessary headache, then I can hide the password, just invite the necessary people that are in, and we can just get on with it. So when chain shooting, the default cursor position is now set within the frame. So obviously, because you're on a timer, you want to be able to actually like move your cursor to whoever wherever you is, whether you're shooting at the goal or chain shooting to a next player. It's just kind of in the screen already, so you're not wasting time trying to basically adjust and wasting time that way. You can challenge the Legend of Heroes level Alien Masters. So basically, very simply put, you're going to be able to challenge level 50 Alias, which is going to be insane. I hope this is so hard. I hope this is mega difficult, because that'll be so fun, and I'll definitely be making videos on that. Maybe it's going to be so hard. I don't really get what it means by in consideration of the impact online. The number of challenges is limited to 3 times per day. I don't get that, but sure. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. Addition of stamp function. So this is emotes basically, which is so funny, mate. You're gonna now. It's gonna be toxic, but it's also gonna be funny. You're actually gonna now be able to be toxic to people. So you just absolutely like dribbling the hell out of someone, and you just hit them with that thumbs up. Oh my goodness, the toxicity is gonna be at an all-time high. I'm so glad they added this in. Like, I know, some people don't like toxicity, but in ranked settings, it's needed, man. We need, ranked always needs just a hint, a little smidgen, a little sprinkle. Imagine Salt Bay right here. A little sprinkle of salt and toxicity. It's good. It's good for the culture. Added landing motion after activating special moves. So once again, just one of those like quality of life changes to make the game a little bit more immersive. So as opposed to just kind of you do your shot and your player just kind of, I don't know, gracefully slaps on the ground, they're going to land like properly back on their feet or that sort of thing. You now get double the experience in CPU battles, which is great. So people can actually, you know, because not everyone likes online, as I said before. So now you can actually gain like good amounts of XP from just CPU battles. You'll now be able to transfer your data from Nintendo Switch to other platforms, which makes sense because they're probably in this update also going to allow, well, this update will likely also be the one that has English. This update will also be the one that will kind of be for cross-platform. So PS5 and PC and such will be able to also play the demo. That's likely why cross-save will be enabled. Tension display when watching the game. This is super massive. Being able to actually understand what your opponents are able to do based on how much bond power they have and how much tension they have is massive. They should have added this in from the beginning, but it's great that you're able to see it now. Or is that only on the spectator screen? I hope that's actually in-game as well. In the defensive zone, the keeper can now operate by switching, which is interesting. I'm not sure what real benefit this is going to have, but it's going to be good to see how being able to control your keeper factors into gameplay. Depending on your uniform, your name will be displayed above the uniform number. That's sick. Just another quality of life change. So we've added in goal performance. So 10 new types of celebrations, basically. It will appear randomly from 3 types for each personality. So basically, they're going to give a personality to each type of player. And for those players, they're going to have 3 different celebrations that they can do. Something interesting here, right? So let's have a look through these celebrations. Makes sense for Victor. Is it me or is this a suspect celebration? Like, come on. Hino, what are we doing with this angle, man? They're like, come on. Come on. There's no shame. There's no shame there at all. Pass mode and kick mode switching function added. So change to a specification that switches between pass mode and kick mode each time ZL is pressed. I'm not actually sure how this is going to work and operate. I'm going to be very interested to see how this works. And once it is implemented, I will be sure to make videos on some of these additional mechanics. Like I said, I still have to put out the in-game mechanics as of version 1.0.0, and then I'll make an updated one when the new changes get added. So performance improvement, ball rotation in the goal net. The ball will now continue to rotate in the net when the goal is scored. It just looks better, cleaner. Improving transition quality. In the previous trial version, some language translation. Oh, translation, not transition. Alright, okay, yeah, makes sense. New character beta and new techniques will be added. And Protocol 2.0 uniform. I feel like they might as well just add all of, like, what's it called? Protocol Omega 2.0 team into the game, to be honest. Why add just beta? Just add them all in at this point. Make it like a 4th team that we're able to use and grind up just for the, you know, the good stuff. And then bug fixes. Fix an issue where players other than 2 competing players were facing meaningless directions during a scramble. Thank you. Yes. Oh, okay. Other players other than the 2. I hope this is also showing like the visual representations more accurate, so that when you actually see someone go in one direction for a scramble, you can actually follow them, and that makes sense. Fix an issue where players would not actively pick up the ball when it fell between players. Other minor big bugs fixed. Alright, well, there you go, guys. That is the summary of the latest development blog patch note news so far. I hope you guys did enjoy. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you think. Drop a like as well. Remember to subscribe, because I'm going to keep on pumping this content out. I really want to stamp a name for myself in the Inazuma 11 community by making great content. It's only going to improve from here. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Deuces.